Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Nobody Makes It Out Alive. Today I have a very special guest with me, Veondre. If you want to introduce yourself, kind of tell more about yourself, what you do.
Hello, my name's Veondre. I'm a trans activist online, and I also am a fashion icon, as you could say.
Can you show your slippers?
Yes, I have plushy slippers on. I hope you guys can see it in the frame because you won't be able to see it. I'm like, hello. But yeah, I do TikTok, I do Instagram, and I'm just an advocate for the trans community. So yeah.
We love it. And today we're going to be talking about how it was like growing up on social media, at a young age. And obviously you're very open about being trans. And with that, I feel like there comes a lot of hate on the internet.
Absolutely.
Just a lot to deal with as a child growing up in the spotlight. And so we're going to kind of get into that today. But before we do that, let's start off light and kind of tell them about our week this week. Special mention. I want to say thank you so much to Pizza Hut. They emailed Mackenzie, my manager, and they were like, can we send Farina pizza for the next episode? And I was so hungry. I just filmed an episode before this. I already ate 3 slices, but I'm probably going to go back in for more while we're talking.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be surprised if the box is gone.
Yeah. All 3 boxes are just demolished.
Yeah.
Okay. What has gone on in your life this week?
Honestly, just finishing a lot of Pride Month deals.
Mm-hmm.
I get asked for Pride Month all the time when it comes to campaigns. Yeah. I just did one with I Buy Direct.
Cool.
So that was filmed 2 months ago, but I had to film me trying on glasses and stuff. So, I just get to, make my coin mostly this time of the year. Yeah, I just moved here 6 months ago and it's honestly been really good.
How do you like living alone? Is it different to get used to? Is it a lot to adjust or?
Yeah, because I'm a people person, but I honestly over time have became somebody who likes my alone time a lot.
Really? That's funny because I was the opposite. When I first moved in alone, I was not a people person at all. I loved being alone, but now living alone longer, I love people more now.
Maybe it's because you've been here longer. How long have you been here?
I've lived in LA for 2.5 years.
Oh wow!
Oh, I know. I can't even say I can't believe that.
Yeah, aren't you from California in general?
Yeah, 3 hours away.
Bay, right?
No, the Bay is up. I'm down.
Okay. Yeah. Opposite direction.
Yeah, 3 hours away though, so it's not that much of a jump. But where did you move from? You said Seattle, right? Yeah, that's crazy. That's a big move to make alone, and I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. No, you too. You were doing it when I remember I was in high school at the time when we met, and you were just making so many big moves, and I was like, oh my gosh, how is she doing all this? So
yeah, guys, I've known V for
2 or 3 years
3
now.
years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been
and before we met, we were mutuals for so long. Yeah, I met you. I was like, finally, bitch.
I know. I was like, mother. Because I don't know. When I look at you, I just think of a very mother relationship mentality. You give me mentor vibes.
Oh,
for
she called me mommy.
You know.
Okay. You were actually at my birthday party. I haven't, guys, please don't be mad at me. I'm still editing my YouTube vlog of my birthday. Please free me.
Today the podcast came out where
I kind of talked about it, but everyone in the comments was like, oh, I thought this was the vlog. So sorry to disappoint, but I'm still editing it. Please wait.
Right.
But yeah, how was that? What was your perspective? Did you have fun?
I was shocked I was invited low key.
Why?
Because we haven't hung out in so long.
I know,
but I think that's just us being busy, just getting stuff done.
I know. That's just, I feel like that's how I am with most of my friends. They disappear for 2 months and then I come back nothing. I'm like, hey guys, how have you been?
I remember you were like, I wish I could be hanging out with you more. No.
I was this when I was drunk?
Yes. I was like, Farina, you can. We can hang out more. And you were like, but I feel like I can't ask you because no. And I'm like, well, I feel like I can't ask you either. We're just both nervous.
Why
all
do
the
I
time.
Briefly remember this? I got a tiny flashback.
Right. She's like, something's kicking, guys.
I start twitching.
Freaking That's So Raven clip of her eye going.
I'm having a vision. Okay, so I know we just kind of talked about it for a little bit, but what made you move to LA? What made you decide okay, it's time?
You know what's interesting is that I came out here for amplifying my career as an influencer, but honestly I kind of resent being one now.
I get that.
So originally for that, and just to be closer to work, because I would come back and forth.
I remember that.
For like 15 to 18.
You would be in LA for like 2 days and be like, okay, goodbye guys, I'm going back to school tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. No, and like during when I was here, I was like doing my Zoom calls because luckily it was during the pandemic. Yeah. So, you know, I was
that was like kind of perfect timing too.
Breaking the rules a little bit, but I was like, you know what? I'm getting my career done. Like I'm here to
do your shit, girl.
Exactly. Exactly. But now it's more of the intention of like, I don't know, I want to pursue things that are like talents, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to just like be on the internet.
Be like a face on the internet.
Exactly.
I get that. Like you want to have more endeavor. Oh, holy shit, I can't say that word. Endeavors.
That.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I just want like a more diverse catalog, if that makes sense, of what I can do. Because I can model, I can sing.
She does it all.
You know, I just don't showcase it all. So it's time to put my foot down.
I'm excited to see more of that of you.
Yes, you know. And I just started my podcast, so that's also a good thing.
Yeah, guys, her podcast set is so cute. Please go watch her podcast after this episode.
Yes. I know. We'll have to have an episode sooner or later.
I know.
After I get picked up for my 6-episode pilot.
When you first got here, was LA like kind of what you expected, or were you kind of disappointed a little, or were you like this was overhyped, or was it what you expected?
See, I was coming back and forth, so I kind of had already an idea of what LA was like, but in a sense, like, traveling for 2 days is so much different than living here. So I think I would look at it like exciting and touristy and like want to do all these fun things and get it done in a week and be on a time schedule. And now that I am here, I'm like, oh, I'm a little lazy. Cause like that's what I would be back at home, you know, just me in my bedroom making videos, but it doesn't take much effort to like, you know, make a TikTok. So honestly, I'd say, my opinion changed over time, and I definitely went in it with a negative mindset at first. I felt like that was just kind of typical though. Like a lot of influencers do that, and they're like, you know, but I wanted to give it a chance, and I honestly think it was the people that I was surrounding myself with.
Yes, which brings me to my next point too, is was it hard for you to make friends? And if so, like, I was kind of talking about this on a different episode of like in LA, you kind of have to categorize your friends in a way of like party friends, like friends that I trust, like friends that like I feel comfortable with. Like, was it hard for you to kind of figure that out? Because I remember when I first moved here, I was like so distraught that like some of my like party friends weren't like caring about me in the way that I thought they were supposed to or expected, you know?
No, I think I definitely like categorized them now, and I know who to stay close to and, you know, open up to. I think what did it for me was just some low key. There was some snakes out here.
I don't want to say some. I want to say hella.
Yeah, exactly. But also like my ideas of how I view sort of what I do change so much. Like I value being off my phone so much. Like it honestly, because once I get on it, I'm in work mode, you know?
Yeah.
And so
like you can't escape, literally.
Exactly.
Like I feel like anyone else like logging into Instagram, they're just like, oh, what are my friends doing? And it's like for us, we're like, okay, like why didn't this perform as good? Like what can I do for this and like this? It's like it's not the typical job. It's
right, because you're turning something that is typically like for memories and fun and for expressing genuine emotions and
into like building a community people. And like monetization, and there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, so it's been kind of interesting, like I guess monetizing it so much, because I in a sense started at it with a hobby, and then over time I kind of was like, okay, like I kind of want to see what there is more to life. There's more to life than just being in your screen all day and creating a moment versus actually living it.
I literally used to be so addicted to my phone. I literally used to be so addicted to my phone. And it was just such like a leech. Like it was sucking the soul out of me. Like I was like not as motivated. I was like not going outside as much. And I've recently also been trying not to be on my phone as much, especially like when I'm with my friends or like we're out to dinner. Like I notice myself like go to grab my phone, like go check on my Instagram post. I'm like, nope, like I have to put it down. It's like a lot of training yourself.
Yeah. No, but honestly, like when I start getting on my phone, like I am like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being disrespectful to my friends right now.
Yeah, me too. Wait, I have a question. This one's actually really funny because I feel like everyone who moves to LA, like they go to their first LA party and it's like such a culture shock. And I want to ask you, like, what was like your first like, what the like LA party moment?
Okay.
Mine is so funny.
Not to jump to what we're gonna talk about later in conversation about like how we met and stuff and like that whole situation with living in a house together. But it was during that time and
for those of you who don't know, Veondre and I were in a content house for a very short period of time because it was very short-lived.
Yes, it was like only 2 months. I was there for like 3 weeks out of the month, and And
I was the first one to move out. I said bye.
No, literally, I was just there for 3 weeks. Glad I was there.
She said just popping in.
Exactly. But honestly, it was just going there. Like I was in high school at the time. I was getting out of my goody two shoes era. I was just so scared because I was just like such a mama's girl, and I still am. But
I remember when you first came here, I was like, I want to protect her. I want to put her in my pocket. I was like, no.
No, like I think I would give too much vulnerability to way many people.
Yeah.
Just because I was so excited.
You were so excited to be there. It was so new to you.
Exactly.
Like,
But for me, it was like the parties for sure. Like I would be partying in like mansions in the hills, and I'd be like,
where am I?
Literally, I'm like 16 and I'm supposed to go to high school like when I get back home. So, you know, but yeah. And like seeing people do like hard drugs and stuff was really weird for me.
Yes. Okay. My first like, what the LA party moment. Have you guys ever been to the Wish Mansion?
I've never been. I've heard a lot of people go though.
Okay, so we get there and it's like this big party and it's like the Wish logo everywhere and I'm like, what the So this was like one of my first LA parties and I go into the bathroom and I don't want to name drop, but there's this big ass influencer in there and he's like with 3 girls.
And they're like, and Caesar will bleep it.
Oh my god.
And he's like doing a line of coke and they're like, do you want to join? Like, do you want to like a line? And I was like, I'm good. I was like 16.
A line? What is this, a cult? Like, what's going on?
It was like literally like a group of people in the bathroom, like just doing a line of coke. They were like, oh, you want some? I was like, just peeing. just here to pee, y'all. And so I think that was my first like, damn, like this is so normal here. And like, yeah. But one thing I will say is I'm very proud of myself for never doing coke.
Yes, well, I mean, I've been offered it so many times and I'm just like,
me too.
It's not my lifestyle. It's not my gig.
Isn't it kind of scary how much it's offered to you though? Like, yeah. And it's also really sad, like seeing some of your close friends, like starting to like love it and do it a lot. And that's one thing too, is like, I don't want to try it because I don't want to like it.
Right.
Because nobody tells you that like drugs feel good, you know, like they feel good for the moment until it's a problem. Yeah. And I feel like, I'm like, drug prevention, guys. Don't do drugs. Stay in school.
I grew up with a family member who was an alcoholic, and I think because of that, I resent drugs so much. Like,
it's scary because you don't want to see yourself go down the same path.
I feel like it just puts people in weird situations where it's just like binging, addictive, treating your family incorrectly, like disrespecting your family, crossing boundaries, burning bridges.
It's definitely a domino effect.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like once you are in it, like there's just so much like that surrounds it that
but
I was going somewhere with that and then I lost it and I was like,
you're good. No, it's honestly really hard because when you have somebody who is in your family who is like that, you honestly are traumatized from drugs and traumatized from things that typical people have fun with. But, you know.
Yeah, but I love that we can have fun and party without
Coke, so. No, I honestly think that's like the most valuable friendships.
It's like being in the moment, like actually having fun, like, Yeah,
exactly. And you get to like remember things. And you get to tell people about your memories. You tell your kids and stuff like, oh, me back in the day.
Back in the day.
You were at that 18 plus club.
The 18 plus.
That was another
when I
thing.
first moved here, that was all I would do.
Me too. Oh my gosh. After the house was over,
that's so embarrassing.
I wanted to go to this 18 plus club so bad, but I was 17 and I used your ID. Do you remember?
ID? I don't remember.
Girl.
Wait, I think, did it work?
Yes. We don't look alike at all. I mean, you guys, please tell us if we look alike, but.
Definitely not.
I'm like a 5'10" baddie. She's a little cutie. I don't even know. Like, we're nowhere near in height.
We look nothing alike.
Right. Nothing. She had blonde hair on her ID.
Yeah, I literally had blonde hair on my ID.
I was like, girl, what's going on?
I'm glad it worked though.
Yeah.
Didn't question it. Okay, so actually, now that we're going back on the memories of us like living together and everything, what was it for you like living in the house with like a bunch of influencers and like that was kind of like your first like experience really being surrounded by influencers like that? Huh? Me too. How was that for you?
Well, honestly, like I really am thankful for the time that I had there, just because like all those people that I'm friends with in that house, I'm friends with to this day. Like we would have never met,
we would have never met, I know.
And so I just like, I'd say like the sole base of who I know out here is from that house. And because I was such at a vulnerable age, I was just like, oh, I feel like this is a part of home with me.
Like you kind of built a home in those people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, even if they weren't the best people.
Obviously, you guys like starting being on the internet so young, you likely didn't go to college. Well, I know Verena, you were in college for a bit, but
dropped out.
Like when you tell these stories, do you feel like this is like your college experience?
Yes, I remember living at Finesse. I would be telling people I feel like this is like my sorority girl era. Yeah, it literally felt like a sorority.
But yeah, honestly, a lot of people had a negative experience. I was there for 3 weeks, so I really didn't have the chance to have a negative experience. I was more so like happy to be there. But you know, others have different stories. And
honestly, my experience was not the best, but I'm not gonna like on the company or like on anyone there. Like it was an experience.
Right.
It was definitely an experience.
Honestly, like and a good learning one as well.
Yes,
like you can learn how to set your boundaries and how to live with people.
I am thankful for that company at the same time because like that was my first time like leaving my hometown and like being in LA for an extended period of time, like longer than a month, and like meeting new people, and like I got to model, which was really cool. So I am very thankful for the experiences they gave to me, as much as I did not have like the best mental health at the time and like time there.
Well, you were also simultaneously doing like that acting gig.
Yeah, I was like working like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day.
Work like a dog day and night, like girl.
I remember. Do you remember? I would. Oh my god! It would be like 6 a.m. and I'd be like, okay, bye guys.
Exactly.
And then I would come back at 9 p.m. and you would be like, what the Verena?
Right.
Yeah.
And you would be like, okay, are you ready to party or what? I'm like, girl, are you okay?
The party don't start till I walk in.
Are you mentally ill? I mean, you know what? She's being a self-entrepreneur though, so it's okay.
Wasn't that like your first time meeting like Gia and all them in person too? I remember that.
All of my trans girls
I remember
that I have like built a sort of a community with. I was meeting them all for the first time. So I was just really excited because I remember my mom, they would go on trips together. Like they would go to New York and they would go on like a bunch of these girls' trips. And I just couldn't go at the time because my mom was like, why would you go on a random trip with strangers you've never met?
Yeah.
And I believe like the first time I was like testing the waters is when my uncle was going to Arizona. And one of my friends happened to be there and I was just like hanging out with her the whole time. And I was like, Mom, look, she's a good person. Like she's not going to put me in any like.
Was your mom really scared to like set you free?
Yes.
Mine too. Mine cries all the time.
She wouldn't let me be in it initially. She was like, and that's why I wasn't in it from the very start because my mom was like, no, you can't go out to Los Angeles at
I wish you were in it from the very beginning.
Me as well.
Everyone shat on me for being like the only minor there.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about you?
Yes and no, because it was very new to me to be like surrounded by so many people 24/7, like every single day.
Yeah.
To where like I literally had no time to like recharge.
Right.
So like there would be some days where I'd be like, this is really fun. Like I love having this many people all around me all the time. But then there would be other times where the whole house would be like hanging out in my room and I'm like, okay guys, I'm ready to go to bed. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think the only times I ever felt like lonely was like when I had like some serious shit going on. I needed someone to talk to, but I was like, I don't know if I actually trust any of you, you know, like with my like.
Was there any drama in the house?
Yeah.
Not on my behalf. What happened with you though?
I wasn't in any drama, but I witnessed a lot of drama.
Yeah.
The only drama I was in, were you in the group chat when I would keep texting like, who the keeps stealing my
Yes.
Let me tell you, someone was literally with me for literally like 2 weeks. I would have to go to CVS every single morning because someone would take my toothpaste. I would literally text in the group chat like, hey guys.
So it was multiple people.
Yes, I would be like, hey guys, it's fine if somebody used my toothpaste, but please bring it back because I need to brush my teeth. And nobody would answer me. I would have to go to CVS, buy a new one. 2 days later, it's gone. Go to CVS, buy a new one. 2 days later, it's gone. So I had like reached my breaking point. I was like, I don't know how many toothpaste I can buy.
Right.
So I text in the group chat and I'm like, guys, I am literally losing my mind. Like, please stop taking my toothpaste. Like, if you need to use my toothpaste, just brush your teeth in my bathroom. Like, please. And then, but it was also getting to the point where it wasn't even just about the toothpaste. Like, someone stole my shoes. Someone stole my James Charles makeup palette. Someone stole like my ABH lip palette.
But you guys are all living together. Like,
exactly.
Don't you know?
And like everyone knew that like I'm the type of person, like if you want to borrow something, I don't give a like use it, like take it for as long as you want, as long as I get it back. Like I'm not weird about that. Like I don't mind people borrowing my stuff, but it was just like people wouldn't ask. I would like go into people's rooms and I would see them like my like 3 of my hoodies were in their closet and I was like, okay.
Right.
Like,
there's just
or,
lack
like,
of
someone's
boundaries.
wearing my dress and I'm like, I don't mind, but like ask. And so yeah, I just remember my breaking point was like one morning. It was like after like 6 bottles of toothpaste later, I like was so mad. I had no toothpaste and I go and it was like 8 in the morning and I go to like the middle of the house. I'm like, who the took my toothpaste? I was like so mad. Yeah, not my proudest moment, but like I was so angry.
You're like, it needed to be done. Some boundary needed to be set, and no one needs to take my damn more toothpaste.
I never found the toothpaste thief.
So the drama was the toothpaste,
or the shoes, or the makeup. Yeah, but like I don't know. I was missing so much stuff. I was so mad. But yeah. That was really the only drama I was in. But I witnessed a lot of people have their own drama, which is none of my business to speak on. But yeah, there was a lot of drama in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was like a lot of I remember
tension, low key.
Yeah, there was tension. I think not everybody knew how to fully like react to a trans person. And there was like a couple people who would be like misgendering or like just not making it like a very fun space to be in.
Were people like treating you weird there?
Not me. But you know, I just remember having to comfort some of my girls and it was like, there were so many people who were there at some points. It was like, okay, we have to question the background of how you grew up.
Yeah.
And how you even got here in the first place.
Yeah.
Cause like, girl,
let's do some digging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had to really analyze people. But I think later on, I realized like I was so excited. I wanted to do like collaborating with people. Like it was like my first time ever just really like.
Sorry to cut you off real quick, but have you ever been like so excited to like meet and like collaborate with someone and you meet them and you're like, oh wow, you're actually a piece of
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of the people that I collaborate with, like I do some double checking for sure. Like I make sure they're a good person before I even meet them, and like we FaceTime and stuff. Yeah. I'm not somebody to be like mess with my time type thing. But I realized like later on afterwards, like me wanting to collaborate and have like fun little ideas turned into me getting used, and I didn't realize at the time that like.
You have to be really careful about how.
Yeah. I didn't realize I was getting discovered at that time. Like people were, in a sense, like finally seeing me.
Like,
I was getting my little
who
internet
is
hype.
she?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And I didn't realize like I was actually visible and had like a platform to the world, and people took advantage of that for sure. Like
yeah, it's always the beginning of like the influencers are like trying to like grab you like a hawk when you're like on the come up, and they're like, how can I like milk you?
Exactly.
Yeah. I definitely had that happen to me, and it was very sad because I thought they wanted to be my friend, but they did not want to be my friend.
I know. That's how I feel like honestly with you when it comes to just like being friends now, because I'm like, I don't want you to ever feel like I'm using you or
no. Everyone who's in my life now, I don't feel that way about them at all. Good. Like if I'm like actively reaching out to someone, or like I'm like telling them like, oh, like whatever, like I don't talk to people that I feel that way towards. I feel like I've been in LA for so long now that I pick my battles and I just choose peace.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's honestly okay to have people who like you are business partners with, you know, like not everything needs to be friendship as like harsh that is. Like, there's people who collaborate just because it is going to benefit their careers. Like,
and then they'll never talk again.
Exactly. And maybe that's not personal for them. Maybe that is a business transaction, you know? So,
and there's nothing wrong with that either. I
exactly.
mean, do you get your bag?
That part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think.
Can you talk about why the house ended?
It was only a 2-month, like.
It was supposed to be 3 months.
Oh, really?
Yes. And then I actually have a voice recording of this phone call. Were you there when everyone was in my room and I was like fighting with the CEO on the phone because he wanted me to do a photo shoot, but I had just gotten back from a 12-hour shift at Brat. Were you there? And I had like a panic attack and like went to go sob in the backyard and like 12 people were like, it's okay.
And you're like 12 years old.
I literally have that recording of that phone call and I was like, I am literally 16 years old. I should not be overworked like this. Like, I literally just got off a 12-hour shift and you want me to go do a photo shoot? Like, I'm telling you, I have not eaten all day. I am drained. Like, you're crazy. And so he was like, yeah, I had gotten a really big fight with him and
like child labor laws, babe.
Yeah. And so I told him, I was like, I'm moving out. And then I told a few girls, I was like, I'm going to move back to my mom's. And then those other girls were like, we're out too, girl. Like, let's go get a place. And so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's actually how you started, like, your whole roomie situation.
Yeah. It was me, Arlene, Zaya, Tati, and who else? I know you and Gia stayed there for, like, a couple weeks, right? Yeah, we had like some people like coming in and out for a little bit. They would stay with us because it was summertime, so they were just like, "Hey, can we stay with you guys?" Right. So yeah, people would be coming.
The college experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved it. It made me feel like so at home.
That's kind of what I miss having about roommates too. Like, it was just so fun. Like, I would wake up and I'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" Like,
was that your first time like ever moving into LA with people? Was like, that was your first time?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wait. Yeah. That's honestly like a really good experience to have.
It was. I loved it. And then, I got my own apartment by myself after that. And then, I kind of miss having roommates though.
Weren't you like home for a little bit too? I remember like you took a break from it. And what made you like come back?
There's something about being in your hometown that just makes me feel stagnant and like I'm not doing enough, or like there's so much more that I could be doing and I'm so limited there, you know? And like, it's really hard to make friends in my hometown because it's such like a small city and it's just like everyone that I know from my high school and like, I don't with that bitch. No.
Right. I'm friends with like nobody I was friends with in high school.
Yeah, I have like 5 people that I'm like, I would call my friends from school, but and like, no,
I honestly think because like a big reason why I was like being so vulnerable to those people when I first like came out here and was visiting is because I had shitty ass friends at school. So that kind of like made me feel like, oh, maybe there is somebody who actually like likes me for me. But
I just feel like it's a lot of trial and error with friendships.
Exactly.
Like, and then it like trial and error times 2 when you move to LA because people are just so different. Yeah, definitely culture shock to me.
What about with your love life? Like, how is that?
I'm like, if we really want to get into it, I feel like social media and having a platform has made my love life harder.
Me too.
And because you never really know someone's true intentions, and like some men will really play the long game to get what they want out of you, whether that be sexual, whether that be money or fame, whatever they think they can get out of you. It's just like you have to like do so much more vetting of this person of like, do they actually like me for me? Do they actually want me, or are they just like impressed by what they think I have, you know? And so I feel like definitely with some like talking stages I've had in LA, I was like, oh, like you're not genuine. Like I know what you're doing right now. And like, I don't know, just so many people have backwards intentions, and it's just given me a lot more trust issues. But it's also like I see the positive side of it, of like it's kind of like a filter, you know? Like I feel like once you're in it for so long, it's like you start to see the signs and red flags that some of these people give you, and you're like, you just catch on to
immediately it. Like switch off. It makes me go back to those who like I honestly like skimmed over, took for granted. Because that's how I like initially like decided my friends in LA. I was like, oh, I don't really need to look everywhere. Like the people that I like love me are already around me. So I kind of just need to like focus on them and like make sure I put all my intention into them, because they're people that need to be valued like back and forth, you know? Like it's like a relationship and
exactly. I always say like friendships are just like relationships. Like, you have to like nurture them the same way.
That's why it hurts so much when it ends, you know.
I know. Yeah. Fuck a friendship breakup. That shit hurt.
No, I hate that. Like,
I know.
Because you open up so many vulnerable things with them. Like, you don't feel like you have to put on a show or a facade or like feel like you have to like look attractive for them. It really is them just solely loving you for your soul and your heart.
For you, yeah.
And it's just like so beautiful. So when
I love love.
I know. When friendships end like that, I'm like, whoa.
I know.
That one really hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, everything happens for a reason. Like I was just talking about too, how like some people are meant to just be experiences and like not attachments or possessions. I agree. You know, yeah. I feel like I used to have a really big problem with that. It was like I want to hold on to everybody so hard, and like I had such a problem, not a problem, but like I had a hard time like letting people go and like releasing. And now I'm just like, you were a good experience. Like bye, have a good life. Yeah, like it's a lot easier for me now.
Yeah. Also like becoming less of a people pleaser is one of the biggest things for me.
Yes, that people pleasing is an occurring topic on this podcast. Really? By the way, yes.
Are you a people pleaser?
It used to be so bad. Really? I think I still am, but not to the capacity I was.
Yeah. I definitely am. Like still to this day, like I
see it.
Well, you know,
I literally see like younger me and you sometimes.
Oh, just like the way I text people, the way I just interact with people. I'm like, I always want to make sure like the energy I'm giving you is reciprocated, but not always do you deserve that energy.
Yeah. And it's like you have to figure out when to like draw that line or like retract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is really hard just because I'm somebody who like, again, loves love, as we were saying. And I love to make sure people feel, I want them to know my emotions and what I feel for them. But sometimes I have to like let them know like, in different ways that aren't being so like people pleasing.
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard to like show up fully and like be scared of like that being taken for granted, but like also just wanting to give your all, but like
yeah. My thing is though, like at the moment, even though I could be a people pleaser and that is like a caricature of me, or what's that word? Like characteristic of me. I look at it in a beautiful way. Like, I feel like my vulnerability may be taken for granted of, and I can learn from those experiences, but that's what they are for, to learn and to grow. And eventually I'll become the person where I'm not being stepped on, but you know, it just takes time, and at least I'm aware of it.
Yeah. And I feel like with those experiences, living in LA kind of adds like a couple years of wisdom onto your life for your age. And so I do this thing on my podcast where I have people send in voicemails. Ooh. And they're going to kind of ask for advice or like our 2 cents, whatever we want to offer, like things to help them on with. So we're going to get into that. And I feel like we kind of have a lot to offer on. Yeah. Oh, so we're going to get into the first voicemail. In the future, if you guys want to call in and leave a voicemail, I always post the prompts on my Instagram story. So like weekly, I'll be like, hey guys, this week's topic is about blah, blah, blah. Like call this number. And the number in question is 323-989-1746. I love when you guys leave your ages too, because it makes it easier to give advice, because I wouldn't give the same advice to like a 14-year-old to like a 25-year-old, you know?
Right.
So love when you guys leave names, ages, love all that. Eat it up. So yeah. First voicemail.
Hi, Verena. My name is Kiki, and I saw your Instagram story, and I hurried up, and I wanted to make a voicemail. I will definitely say, now that I'm 18, I have discovered so many changes in my job life and money. I know money's kind of like a topic that nobody likes to talk about, but when I was about 15, 16 years old, I did not have any concept of money. I wanted my mom to buy me expensive things and everything, and she was like, Kiki, like, we can't afford this, and I just wasn't aware of that. So now that I'm paying for my own I understand what it's like to have to be an adult. I don't really have a question, but I will say, or I guess I do have a question. How was it moving out on your own? Because I'm currently in the process of moving out on my own at 18. And how was your process like? Because everything is so expensive, and I don't want to like go bankrupt just for moving out to try and enjoy the things that I like to do. So if you could give me some advice on that, I'd really appreciate it. And congrats on being 20. Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I love you too. And thank you for calling in.
She's so sweet.
Right?
I love
She's
Kiki.
such a cutie. Credit cards has me over. Yeah.
Girl,
Yeah.
same. Like, I have
That.
fat limit on my credit card. I will say that.
Me too. And I use it.
And I
That's
use
the
it.
problem.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
my Lord.
Yeah.
Girl, that money is not yours.
I know. It's a scam. Oh my God, no, I literally just paid off my credit card like 3 days ago, and I literally was like, no.
Girl, like,
no.
that has to be a month's worth rent. Like,
yeah, no, it was like 2 months worth of rent. I wanted to die. And then it was like telling me, it was like, your interest charge is coming up soon. I was like, no.
Please.
I was like, please have mercy.
That auto pay is literally my demise. Like, I am not making it out alive. Wait, is that the... That's the stuff. I'm over it.
I am not making it out alive.
That'll definitely be used in like a little...
Yeah. I feel like you can relate to this too, is like,
Yeah.
when we first start seeing that money come in and we're young and like we're like, oh my gosh, like I was very, very careless with how I spent my money, and I just like spent it on everything. And,
Girl.
and then I was like, oh, and then I got older and like had to pay bills, and I was like, oh.
No, I
Yeah.
even spent it on just like when I didn't have money. Like,
Yeah, no, me too. I literally, I would be like 14, like borderline pushing like -5 in my bank account, and I would be like, well, let's make it -20.
Right, because I was like, let me get that cute outfit real quick.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Those
like,
overdraft fees be crazy.
exactly. Yeah, I was like living in my parents' house and simultaneously doing social media. So I was just getting a lot of money, and I had nowhere to spend it. So I
Because
was
you didn't have bills to pay yet.
no bills,
That's how I was
no
too.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
So yeah, my family was like, "Oh, V, you get to like always get these luxurious things, but just know when you move out, it's gonna be a lot different." And
Yeah.
boy, was it! Like there's bills to pay,
There's furniture to buy.
Exactly.
There's the gas, the water, the electricity,
like tell me
Wi-Fi.
why I spent $800 on just decor decorations on
literally.
Amazon. Like it's insane how much things
Sometimes I
cost.
stand in my apartment and I'm like, wow, I could have bought a house with the money that I put all into this.
I know.
Like, it's actually sickening to think about sometimes. And I know you mentioned like, oh, I'm so scared to like keep up. Like, I don't want to go bankrupt. And I will tell you, like, one thing I always do, if you do have the room or the space or the flexibility to do this, what I always like to do is every time I get paid or like whatever it is, like from a brand deal or YouTube, whatever, I like to split it into 3 ways. So the first one will be my rent. So I'll put some money aside for my rent from that check. And then the second part goes into my savings. And then the third part is spending money.
Right.
So I divide it into 3. And so I just kind of like try to limit my spending money because I do want to save, because I used to be really good at saving. And then recently I kind of went a little crazy. And so, yeah, but
What prompted you? Were you like just...
I was just like, F it, we ball. Like, I want
Right.
to live life.
Exactly.
Like, why make money if I can't spend it?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's
like,
how I feel too. I'm like, as much as it's important to save, I feel like if it's for a good experience, spend that money, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it's for a concert, you know,
Yeah.
that's an experience you can never get.
Yeah.
Just like pick wisely.
Yeah, I
Like, don't
agree.
overdo it. Like,
don't overdo it for sure. I say, like, try to give yourself a little leg room or a little leg space. Like, just try to save a little bit so that if one day, like 1 month, you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to make ends meet this month. Like, you have that money in your savings to fall back on, you know? I know that can be stressful. So, like, just try to, like I was saying in the episode before this, like, try to think of how future you can thank you. Like, tomorrow you or a week from now you is like, oh, I'm so glad that I put this money aside, you know?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I'm in like an irresponsible money spending era right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, a lot of it was like how much I was spending on clothes and trying to keep up with the trends and trying to, like, I don't know, like, I think I've definitely become like a victim of fast fashion
And I think that's also why it's so important to like find your own, to like find like basics and staples in your closet, so you're not getting sucked into that fast fashion. Yeah.
So luckily because of that, like I've just like found my own style and things that I can like honestly like repeat, and I've been somebody to repeat outfits constantly. Like
I used to never be an outfit repeater until this year. I'm an outfit repeater until I die now.
No,
like, I love it.
I will repeat that outfit like 5 to 10 times. I don't care if I liked it. That's why I bought it, you know, like I'm gonna get the good use out of it.
I literally used to be the bitch that was like, oh no, I was already seen in this. Like, but like now I'm like, fuck, like it's cute. I look good. Like,
the learning process for that is just to learn that people do not actually care that much. Like no one's concerned about you that much. I'm sorry.
And
like,
I'm also sorry to be like a TikTok audio girly, but do you know that one TikTok audio where it's like, I might be an outfit repeater, but you're an outfit remember,
yes,
which is even worse.
It's the Lizzie McGuire quote. Yes, she's like, Lizzie McGuire, you're an outfit repeater.
Well, you're an outfit rememberer, so that's even worse.
That's pathetic. Oh my god. No, but yeah, just like learning to enjoy the things that you did spend, and
don't feel guilty about it too. You know, like you did work hard for that, and like you deserve to like
Like the damage is done. You might as well just
the damage is done, girl.
Just enjoy what you bought and learn from it and move on, and you know, continue to save. I'm somebody who has savings as well. Like I have like a whole chunk of like my rent money, so I don't have to worry about that stuff, because like that can be scary if you're just like going month to month on bills. I don't know. And people are not always consistent with paying you.
And then like also with like being an influencer, you get paid differently, like net 30, net 90, net 45.
We'll get like 90 days without pay after we're done with a job, and it's like, how am I gonna pay my rent?
Yeah, like, no, literally.
Because I
also don't want to take the money out of my savings to pay my rent, so it's just like
exactly.
But
what am I gonna do in the next year after all that money is spent? Like all that savings is gone. Savings is no longer savings. Like, girl,
I would say like, just enjoy your space. Like you don't have to be fully furnished right away. Like I didn't have a downstairs couch until like a month ago. Honestly,
enjoy what you have. Like I don't even have TVs right now.
Yeah, like, and that's perfectly fine. Like go at your own pace. Yeah, I feel like you don't even need a TV to be honest. Yeah, like just go at your own pace. Like you don't need to have like a fully furnished, beautiful apartment. Like as long as you have a bed, somewhere to sleep. Who cares if you're even sleeping on the floor? If that's your like your safe space, you know, like. You don't need to have everything figured out, and just take your time with it. But
also when it comes to spending, make sure that your priorities in check. Like, do not go spend $600 on Shein clothing
when you need a couch.
You should be getting a bed.
Yeah.
Girl, I would like spend so much money on clothes. I'm like, let's go shopping. As soon as I got here, literally. Girl, I was sleeping on a Target blown up mattress. Like, this is not the lifestyle you think it is. Because also your like mental health is low key like evident with what your space is. So make sure that like you take care of your space and invest in your space so you can feel good about yourself.
That's your safe space. Do you think we covered that pretty well?
There was one thing I wanted to say. Oh, I think that you should also listen to your parents. I
agree.
As long as they have your best intentions, and I think most parents do, especially when it comes to money, because I think a lot of parents are frugal with money. Like my grandma is like somebody who saves till the day she dies. She helps me with my finances. But don't be afraid to like have them help you out. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
And we're like young adults. Like we're just entering. Like we're still trying to figure it out. You know, like this is like our first rodeo. Like your parents have been through this with like multiple. So
and I know it can be hard because sometimes you can resent parents or feel like
f off, mom. Fuck off, dad. You don't get it.
But
no, they get
do.
it. Yeah.
They have wisdom for a reason. They wrote.
Believe it or not, they were 18, 19, 20 at one point too. Which is like,
and they watched you grow up your whole life. They're gonna understand how you.
They
think
know
about
you
the
like
world.
the back of their hand. Yeah.
Period.
So, yeah, but I hope we helped, and thank you for calling in, Kiki. That was her name, right, Kiki?
Kiki.
Yes, Kiki, we love you, and yeah, thank you for calling in. I hope we helped. Mwah. Okay, next voicemail.
Hey, Verena.
Hi.
So I have a question about finding your inner peace and your purpose. I know that like growing up, you always had a passion for like beauty lifestyle, and your content has changed. which I love. I'm all for it. But like, how did you navigate like finding a new direction and like getting into fashion and just like overall finding like different career opportunities than the one you were like already pursuing? Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for calling in. I feel like we can both really have a lot to say for this, because I know you might probably feel this way, because I felt this way when I was like heavily in like the beauty and lifestyle area, and I know it's not the same at all, but I felt like very confined to making that type of content. And I was like, well, if I don't make this content, like people aren't gonna watch my videos, or if I don't do like makeup videos, like people aren't gonna be interested in what I have to say if I'm not like doing a cool makeup look with it, you know? So for me, it was just more of like, I just started doing, like, I felt confined to that one like niche, and I just wanted to try new things, and I did try new things, and I like it, not more necessarily, but I feel like it fits me better now, and it's just what I resonate with the most now. Like, I feel like my vlogs and like stuff I do now, like, is just more convenient to my life at like in this present moment. And who knows, I might go back to like being like an MUA on YouTube. But yeah, how do you feel?
Well, first off, like, very proud of you, because I feel like I don't know, there's a lot of people who kind of like set up an idea of you in their head already because of what you used to be. So, you know, you've literally done like a full 360.
Yeah, I was like, I would say frick instead of I was like family friendly as hell. Like, yeah.
No, you're a totally different vibe, which I honestly think it's like really hard to like actually show your actual self online sometimes. Like, you want to put up a character so you can, if somebody comes for you, you know, you're like, well, it wasn't real. I was at first a people pleaser when it came to the topics I would pick with just like talking about my trans struggles online. And I boxed myself for sure, like only talking about those things. And in a way I would talk about things that people were only interested in hearing versus like what needed to be heard from me, which is my experience and why I think it's important. So what I think I should speak up about is most important. I think that's number one rule as an activist. Like, you're not here to please a bunch of people.
You're informing and you're spreading awareness.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not here to make people comfortable. You're here to do the opposite.
Have the important conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I would actually like, I remember, I don't know how long ago it was. I think this is kind of like in the house era, but you would always like get comments and like reply to them with videos, and they would always be like, is all she talks about being trans? And you were like, yeah, and like, just stop watching. And I would be so confused and like, why? Like, people know what your page is. Like, you are here to like tell people what's up and like inform people and like, obviously.
Exactly.
But do you ever feel like you can't make other content?
I used to feel like that, but now the content that I make is very like fashion centered and like diving into like expressing androgyny.
I've been seeing you on your fashion shit.
You know.
Yeah.
But just like expressing myself in other ways that isn't just feminine, because I felt like I had to only express myself feminine to get validation from those who didn't accept me. But I had to learn that those who didn't accept me for being trans and having a certain stereotype
has nothing to do with you. And
no,
it
doesn't.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, what's gonna speak more to people is me expressing my identity, whether it's understood or not.
And I also just want to say, dude, like, I think you're so cool and I'm so proud of you. And I just like seeing you go from like high school to like now. And like, I remember, I don't know if it was like prom or like you had an assembly or type thing, or like you won like prom queen, right? Yes. Yeah. And like everyone was hating on you. I was like, dude, like this girl is so like brave and cool. And like the fact that you were like able to like turn it into like a cool positive experience that so many people at your school were like hating on you. And I kind of resonated with that too. Like,
yeah, it was really hard to, honestly, because like I had that moment of winning that, and then I was like,
and it was like felt like it was taken away from
you exactly.
But
yeah. My thing is like, it was such a moment. Like, a trans girl winning homecoming queen is the like, especially a black trans girl in a main where there was no minorities at anywhere in the school. Like, it was majority like white people. It was just amazing that it even happened, and I was like, I can't let the few people that said something ruin it. You know, maybe it could be like a fun video online. Yeah. But like at the end of the day,
this
is
so
a
time
of celebration. You know, it's time that I get to experience my
like
joy.
That is literally going to be in the history books.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I honestly hope it inspires more people to go out and, you know, be out there to be a candidate for running for homecoming or prom queen or king.
You're such a role model to so many, and I love it. And I feel like it's so stressful too, because you're also just like, I'm just a girl in the world.
Exactly.
Like you're still learning.
I honestly like as of recent, I don't think I hardly talk about trans topics unless if it's like for brand deals, because that's what the brands kind of want me for. Yeah. They want me to. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just like, we need more representation, especially within the media and what we're purchasing. So I honestly think it's a good thing that they look to me for a lot of trans things. But on my social media, I show other things that aren't just being trans anymore. So whether that's like the relationships in my life, how I express myself, even if that is based off of my identity, like it doesn't all have to be about that, because I feel like once I can strip away just being trans, people can understand me as a trans person.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I'd honestly just like add on that to not be afraid of trying new things and testing the limits. Whatever's making you happy at the end of the day is what's going to be the best for your mental.
I agree.
Like as fun as it is to please a bunch of people and give them what they want, like what you want. You're
not living for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So I honestly think like once you bite the bullet, even if the views are low, like, are you happy doing it? Cause you know, that's really what matters.
Yeah. And like with the whole like purpose thing, or like whatever makes you happy, that could change all the time. Like whatever makes you happy, what might not be what makes you happy in a month or two. So just like be mindful of like what you actually want and like what's actually making you happy, and be honest with yourself and try new things. Yeah.
Don't get in like habits too of like just like repeating yourself over and over of like, I don't know, things you feel uncomfortable with, because then you're forcing yourself in like a toxic kind of
cycle.
Exactly.
Back to the social media thing, do you feel as though like as an activist there's an extreme like pressure on you to be kind of a role model to people?
Yeah, for sure. No, there's definitely a pressure to be a role model in the way where it's like, I need to make sure that I say nothing incorrect. But I think what is admirable about me for a lot of people is that I do say things that aren't always like on the line. So in that way, I think just taking off the pressure is what gives you that role model status.
Right, because you're being more real.
Exactly. So I honestly like just threw that all out the window, because I was like, I can't live for other people.
Right.
And
like you're still like a young woman trying
exactly.
to figure yourself out.
I'm allowed to make mistakes. Yeah. Like I'm allowed to learn from mistakes. I think that's what people
don't get sometimes too, is they hold like influencers and activists like such a high standard, because like that's what they're seeing, that's what they're consuming, but they don't realize that we're like another person on the other side of the screen, also consuming other media and also learning and also still growing too.
And I'm a hardcore activist, not only for my community, but for, you know, like my other ethnicity groups. And like, not always do I know how to word that correctly, because I didn't grow up with my culture. So that's specific to my experience as like a mixed person, is that I don't always like have the background on how to really understand all of the communities on a level where it's like, I understand your struggle. But
like,
I think
make yourself aware,
that's my story. And I feel like no matter what, like my story is something that many people can relate to as mixed people. Like they can't find their one identity, but you know, that's what makes them them. And I think navigating that, I wish we had like mixed people support groups. I don't even care if you're like not black, like, or of my ethnicity. Like, I just want to hear like how you like go back and forth.
You should make like a Discord for that.
That would be really cool. Yeah. There's actually a lot of people who have like Facebook groups, and they don't even have like the same ethnicities. They're just like I'm mixed and I feel like I can't identify with this certain group, but I can identify with this group, but they don't accept me for this and da 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 da. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, we're all in the same boat.
That's such a hard topic too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be its own episode too, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I feel like we covered that pretty well. She didn't leave her name, did she?
I don't think so.
I wish
No.
Yeah. Okay, well, I hope we helped. I think we did good with that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you for calling in. I love you. So we're gonna move on to the next voicemail now. Caesar, thank you.
Hi, Verena. It's Julianne. I got picked for, I'm pretty sure, your second episode for your podcast. And I'm actually 15 right now. And I wanted to ask a question since, you are older. My question for it is, do you see yourself higher than things that you did when you were younger? Like, do you see that you finally accomplished goals that you wished you when you were 15? Do you think, like, your 15-year-old self would be happier, like, would be happy to meet you? If that makes any sense. I'm sorry, I don't know how to speak. But I love you so much. Bye.
No, that made perfect sense. I love you too. I think my 15-year-old self would think I'm the coolest person ever. What about you?
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know.
I'd be a little confused.
Yeah, I would be so confused.
I'd be like, how did you get here?
Yeah. I would be like, whoa, where did all these tattoos come from?
Right, because you were the tattoo god.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. Like, oh my lord.
Every week I was like, guys, new tattoo.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if my 15-year-old self would be like a little frightened or like, oh my God, you're the coolest person ever. Maybe like both, but I would like 15-year-old me would be very proud of where I'm at now. And I don't know about you, but I would do anything to go back in time and give her a hug.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you feel?
As well. Yeah. I at the time, like the people I was surrounding myself with were just like there for me, but not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just let people step on me. Like it wasn't even people pleaser. It was like people.
Doormat. Yeah.
Exactly.
Me too.
Girl.
I feel you. Yeah.
So I wish I could go tell myself, like, though these people are putting you through like trauma low key, it's not all about you. Like, I feel like low key, I didn't realize that people had their own issues aside from mine.
I feel like when you're younger, it's hard to comprehend, like,
exactly,
the world doesn't revolve around you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would honestly like put a reality check for that for my past self. Yeah. What about you?
As far as like meeting like goals and achievements, I think I've met most of them that 15-year-old me wanted, which is why I think she would be so proud. But I think one thing that has been a reoccurring problem since I was 15 and I still need to work on, and she would be disappointed to know that it's still a problem, is also being a doormat. Is I can be too nice sometimes and I don't know how to say no, and sometimes I don't know how to stand up for myself, or I'll put myself in situations I don't want to be in because I just simply didn't know how to not.
Or people will blatantly like treat you like crap, like, and you will just be like, oh, that was a one-time thing. No, girl, they showed you your character.
Yeah,
like,
that is one thing, like, especially like over the last few months, I've had to really like tell myself, like, believe people when they show you who they are.
Exactly.
Like, it's literally, take it for what it is. Like, I wish I could stop giving so many people the benefit of the doubt all the time, because not everybody deserves it. No. Yeah. Especially living in LA. Oh.
No. And like in relationships as well. Like I feel like, oh my Lord, I'm thinking of an idea of you and you are nowhere near the standard at all.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like,
elaborate.
I feel like I've had like a situation, not a situation, but just like, it's like a pattern with me with guys. Like, they'll just be the shittiest person ever, and I'll be like, oh, but they can change. Like, girl, no, you just met them.
You cannot fix him.
Like, you can't fix him. Like I'm definitely like a fixer-upper when it comes to relationships, and like I need to stop, because I think that's what I'm gonna find happiness in my companionship with people, and especially like in a love scenario. But I feel like
it is not our job to like train these men.
No,
like, it is not our job to show them how to treat us.
Absolutely not. Like, you should already know from the get-go.
I feel like before approaching either of us, like, you should already have a game plan. Like, you should already know what, like, no more. No. Like, no more of
My
that.
standards are so much higher than
me too.
Actually, when I was like 15, like,
I feel like my standards get higher like every day, honestly. Like, and every bad experience and every bad relationship I go through, I literally, my standards shoot up. I'm like, never again. I am never allowing that for myself again.
No.
Yeah.
I think like as a trans girl too, like I would be in kind of circumstances where people would just like be keeping me secrets or in a sense, like just like being embarrassed of my whole existence, and like, why would I even give the person the time of day if you don't accept me for who I am?
Be with you and show you off.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and I also think that circumstance was like just particular to me because of me being out at such a young age. But you know, I think that it like pertains to people who aren't trans as well. Like, people just don't know how to respect others at that young of an age, and they're still learning respect. So unfortunately, sometimes you can be the guinea pig for that. So
and I remember when I was living with Gia and Zay and everything, they would always talk about how like some men would just really like use you guys as a fetish, and
that's a big issue. Like, you never know who truly loves you, and I don't even think
who's like playing you as a part of their fantasy.
Exactly. Like, a relationship, I don't even know if it could be genuine all the time. Like, even girls who are in happy relationships, like, you never know what that guy's intentions are.
That's what's so scary about love.
I know. And I mean, trans girls are not like, you just don't know what they are using you for. So that can be a fantasy, that can be an idea in their head. Like, especially with like people who date like with wide range gap or age gaps. I think that's a big issue as well, because like there's a level of like understanding the world and like vulnerability and innocence. And, exactly. Girl, I get scared for you in some situations.
Why?
Because I see your stories.
I text her and say, stop posting when everyone knows you're alone. Stop doing that.
Don't post in the moment, 1. 2, I know you love homeless people, but girl, like, you cannot be... Sometimes there's a boundary.
Did you see?
Yes, I saw when you were dancing with that guy in the freaking field, and he started trying to touch you weird. And you were just like, oh, so sorry. No.
At first it was like,
no, girl, you need to take that as a lesson and say, oh my gosh, like, there's other ways to help people. Okay.
At first it was like fun and games, and we were like frolicking in the park together.
Every day it's a text to Verena going, don't post that, don't do that. Someone's gonna stalk you. Like, relax.
Mackenzie, every day I get a text from her. She's like, you're gonna get kidnapped, Verena. Like, please, I'm so worried for you.
Girl, I'm gonna start texting you too, because you need to hear it from multiple people.
Okay,
apparently.
here's my thing though. It's just I just love strangers, like homeless or not.
I saw you just recently in Hawaii, just like learning from this one stranger. You were like, they just give me the best life advice ever, and I'm like, girl, like, what did they say? Like, that. I don't even know. It could have been the most simple thing ever. And you'd be like,
they were
wow,
like, don't get pineapple on your pizza. And I was like, wow. No, I just love. Okay, I love love. I love people. I love strangers, homeless or not.
Oh my Lord.
Like, I just feel like there's something to learn from everybody, you know? Like, and like, I just feel like, especially with homeless people, like, all they really need is somebody to listen. And like, yes, some of them really do cross boundaries when I talk to them, and I think it's because I'm definitely too nice, and like, I just don't know how to be like, okay, that's enough, because like, I'm scared they're gonna stab me.
Her house getting broken into this year would be like, okay, I'm gonna relax on like.
Your house got broken into?
Yes.
Oh, you missed that series of stories. What? She posted like the police in her house, like with guns.
Yeah, it was like 4 a.m, and there's like 2 cops like pointing guns at my upstairs loft.
She's like live streaming. She's like, this is my address.
Now that's camp.
That was
She's
so
like, guys, this is where they broke in.
Oh
this is actually how they got into my apartment.
Starts painting about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, guys, I'm gonna give you a POV step by step of how I think they broke into my apartment.
Literally, like, thank God you have a ring now, but like,
yeah, no, I have cameras all over now, so it's fine. But well,
you
it's
lock
not
your
fine,
doors, right? Like,
yeah, no, I'm like extra paranoid now. I like double lock. I close the windows. Like,
girl,
but
thank the Lord.
I just like we ball. Like, every day's an adventure. Like, what are we doing today? Who am I gonna meet today?
Verena's literally my child.
But, wait, let me tell you though, it's crazy because I wish you guys knew me when I like first moved here. I was like the shyest, most introverted person ever. Like, if a stranger would try to talk to me, my face would turn red, and I'd be like, oh, I'm like I would just stutter. Like I wouldn't know how to talk to people. And I just feel like also 15-year-old me would now think that that's so cool that I just like talk to everybody and anybody and I don't struggle with that anymore.
Yeah. Are there any goals that 15-year-old you got like didn't meet?
Yeah, I wanted to be like a Vogue model.
No.
Slay.
I am everything that I wanted to be.
Did you exceed your expectations of the person you were going to become?
Yeah, for sure.
I think so. And I think more so mentally than like physical achievements too. I think I'm very proud of how far I've come mentally, especially. Yeah.
Did you have the goals to be where you are career-wise? Like, did you know that you wanted to be an influencer?
Yes.
Before being my 2 dream jobs was I was going to go to Harvard and be a criminal defense attorney and live in New York and have my own law firm. And then it was, okay, I'm going to do makeup tutorials on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah. And I love them both. And I still feel like I still have like aspects of that like whole law thing in my life. And I love it. But, I love being an influencer, honestly. I hate the word influencer. I'm sorry, but
can it be like creator or something?
Yeah,
like, I like that better.
I love being a creator.
That's why I'm like, I'm an online actor.
I do think though that there is a difference between creators and influencers. Like you are influencing. You're influencing being an advocate, being an activist. Like you're influencing whether it be fashion or beauty. And then there are content creators who just make content for fun and like aren't necessarily influencing.
Yeah.
So even though you hate the word. I
think when it becomes like kind of undesirable is when those people like use that content that they do for fun and then put entitlement to it. Like of like what they feel they deserve in the world. Like girl, like let's keep it a buck. You are just making videos.
Like the public figures where like I'm above you. And
Exactly.
I
like,
hate that shit. Oh my God. And then meeting influencers in
doing.
person and they act like they're so above you. And I'm like, okay, let's humble ourselves
Right.
here. Let's take a few steps back.
You do not need to have this fat of an ego.
And that's kind of like what this whole podcast is about too, is like nobody makes it out alive. Like we all bleed red. Like we're literally all the same. Like it's not that serious. Like just be nice to people. Just be kind. Like it's not that hard. Like it's so much harder to be mean than it is to be nice. It
really is.
Like it takes effort to be mean. Like being kind is just natural. Like just do you. Like damn.
I saw this video on my For You page and it was like you instead of like having a bunch of negative thoughts, you should just say one positive thing at least to anybody. Actually no, it was you should say every positive thought that you have.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how much the negative will like disappear.
Yeah, I love that.
So like say I feel like I'm scared to tell you something, like just say it, you know?
Yeah. I love Okay, but I think we're gonna wrap up this episode. We've been filming for a while, but it didn't even feel that long. Like I was just having so much fun talking to you.
I love it.
Yeah. I want to say thank you so much to V for being a guest. If you want to drop your socials, what's your username?
Well, the most important thing right now is that I am having my own podcast. Called Don't
Her
Ask
set
Me
is
That
so cute.
On the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel. It's on all streaming platforms. I talk about trans activism, my struggles that I go through with doing so, of just being a trans woman, and we get to talk about it with all different walks of life. So if you're interested in something like that, definitely go on the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel and check it out. But my social media is VEONDREMITCHELL.
And a melody.
Veondre on TikTok, Veondre M on Snapchat, and the first one, same thing for YouTube. So.
Your username isn't the same on everything?
No, and it's so annoying. Like the person who has my username, who is just like Veondre, blocked me. I was like, girl, I just want the damn username, and they were like, no, you can't have it ever. Matter of fact, you're never even speaking to me. Anyways, you got anything to plug, girl?
Yes, please guys, I'm still editing my 20th birthday video. Please don't be mad at me. I promise it's a really good video. Just wait. I'm sorry.
Everyone in the comments is so mad at the taking accountability video. Or they weren't mad, but they were like, oh my God, I thought you did something.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, had to clickbait you guys there for a second.
Bye.
Okay, but thank you guys so much for watching or listening. We love you.
Yes.
Bye. Woo!